Hello, I'm gonna do a video. I love you. Hello. So this one, I'm gonna talk about astrology. So it's just my opinion, stuff like this. I haven't done it yet, so I'm gonna do it. So first off, astrology is like, I think it is the Jewish made it into a doctrine, they coined it, I guess, but it had already happened. With the African stuff like this, they were always pointing at the sky, calling Sirius sky and stuff, Sirius star and stuff like this, right? So it goes further back than Judaism, Jewish, but it was put in their doctrine, right? So it was like a truth, a religious truth, an underpinning, right? So then astrology really grew in the Western world, right? And this is kind of like how it went. It makes sense, but they brought it with them, like the Jewish brought it with them, their teachings, stuff like that, right? It spread over because each religion is connected anyway. So this is like the primary understanding to this. Religion is connected, and it's just really about the evolution of a religious underpinning itself, and that's how we should see it. And they're all important, and they all play a role, right? Okay, so astrology. Let's get into this. Firstly, I like to say people say astrology is negative, and I think they say it's more negative than it is positive, and they do say that that's the reality of astrology, right? But the way I see this, if I was a positive person, I would probably see that the outer planets always work as a wave because it's further away. It's more of a wave. And if they are all connected, they can all work together with the inner planets, right? And this is how it is, in my opinion. So it should be more positive rather than it should be a negative outlook on life, okay? I think it depends who your astrologer is, depending on how morbid it can be. You get some wild creative angels out there who talk about it like a comic, right? Which is kind of like that as well in the programs. But it's kind of an explanation of astrology as well. I don't know. So astrology is where your planets were positioned at first in birth. It's where they were actually positioned. The stars or the planets in the sky. This is when astrology was sort of like a blueprint. It's like they took a picture of there, and then it's almost like down, and then you have a blueprint of you. And it's like when you first came into this world, what time, what day, right? And these are your numerology numbers as well, the dates of births. So astrology is very vast. The thing is, another thing about astrology is that they only can read maybe a quarter of it by that screenshot. It's a 2D concept. So obviously there's going to be a lot more stuff in there that you probably didn't see and then you see. So asteroids, stuff like this. So it all comes into context. So even asteroids, they make sense. Take a picture and down a look. But it's almost like we're still reading a 2D graph, okay? It's 2D. When there's like a full position to take into consideration, okay? So how I'm trying to explain this is that a fourth dimensional concept that's like a fourth dimensional concept, and then it's almost like taking a picture of that and turning it into a 2D. So it's only half of the story, right? So 4 divided by 2 is 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2, right? So that's only 2 spaces, 2 positions, okay? So we need the rest. So it's almost like that's only half story anyway. Now I do think that astrology can only underpin a certain amount. But I think this is where numerology can come in, and this is where obviously the cults and stuff, the theatrical or a visual can come into play as well. But these are all connections to dimensions. So astrology, if when you take a picture of it, it becomes a 2D explanation. Okay, so I don't think it should be as seen as negative as what it is made out. I don't think, but at the same time, that's because there's not a lot of regulation, I don't think, in this, and I think this is why religion was important at once. It kind of weeds itself out for some reason. I believe it's an aspect of faith, okay, love, right? And it's almost like we are searching for that, right? But it is within us, okay? It's there. And that's it, right? And then that's love, okay? So there's obviously planets like Venus, that's a love planet, right? This is a love planet. So we can use those energies, okay, to make us feel happier here, right? So obviously they're in